All right, students, so for some reason the class recording for the online class to watch that details how to do the Excel lab, located in lesson 19, did not work. So not sure what happened to the class recording, but here we go anyway. This is the lab that you were supposed to do. I'll make it a little bit bigger so I fill the screen. There we go, and I'll make sure I start at the top. So basically all you're supposed to do, pretty clear, it says bold the content in C3. Well, here's C3. We're going to bold that. We can either do Control B or we can use the bold key up here. Next one, apply italics. By the way, as I do this, if you need to, pause the video, do some of the work, come back and watch the video. I find it works better if I watch a little bit of the video, go do the work. Watch the video, go do the work. But how you learn is entirely up to you. So this one says apply italics. Well, we can hit actually the Control I key, or if you notice as I do that, it highlights that the italicize has been applied. Here's underline, and that is a Control U, or the underline. This one says apply a thick box. So border me, please. Well, we're going to come up here, and thick box border is a default, so we'll just apply that. Now, the next one's going to make this one at the top kind of mess up, but that's okay. I'll know that you did it. It says apply a custom thick border of your choosing to just the left and right sides. Well, for that we need to come down here into more borders, and we'll pick a thick border. I like that one. Don't want it there though. We said we wanted it on the left and the right hand side, and I don't want it there. There we go. We'll say okay. So if you notice, that then removes it from the top, and that's fine. I'll know that you did it. Add a standard outline border in blue. All right. Again, we come up here, don't see any colors here, so we'll come to more borders. First thing we need to do is apply a blue color. I'm going to pick a darker blue so we can see it. There's an outline border, and it is in blue. It says apply the orange accent to darker 25%. That should be font color to C9. And I even give you some directions. Now, you won't find these directions on the test. That's just too much direction. But here we go. And let's see, which one is it? It's the orange accent to darker 25%. It's right there. It's the 6th column, 5th row. And that one's done. Apply the standard light green fill color. Well, this is the fill bucket here, so I'll choose the down. These are the standard colors. These are the custom colors based on the theme that we've picked. So these are the default theme colors. Here is the standard light green, and that one is done. Align the text. There actually is a spell checking in here, but this isn't it. To the left. So here's left align right here, and I'll just apply that. Now, remember that your top ribbon may look different than mine. I currently have my screen resolution set to 1980 by 1080 so that I can record this video in high definition. Right align the numbers. Here's right align. Am I right? Yep, align right. There we go. Center the text. There's center. Indent the text. So here's the indent. It's right here. I can increase indent or decrease. Well, I have no indent, so I'm going to increase the indent. And as you can tell, I'll be able to tell that you did that by just clicking and undoing the indent. It says angle me, please. Angle counterclockwise. Well, here's angle. Let's pick that. And there's angle counterclockwise. So if you do that, that's what that looks like. Let's see here. Did I miss one? Let's make sure I didn't. Nope. Sneak that one there. Change the column width, please. So it says to 40. So I can do two things. I can right click. I can come to column width, and I can type in 40. I find that to be easier than to come up here, click, and start dragging around and hope, oh, can I get back to 40? Yes, I can. There's a 40 width. It says add a page number only in the Boy, I must have created this when I was tired. I'll make sure I fix this on the template when I'm done creating this video. Left section of the footer. Well, first of all, we need to know how to get into the headers and footers. So if we come over here, there's insert. I'm also, by the way, used to having my screen bigger, so I get all of these. You probably see these right in your ribbon by default. Here's header and footer. I want to go down to the footer. Click to add footer. There's the left-hand section side. If I go to design of footer, page number, it'll add that page number. So that works for that one. Now the next one says header. It says add a header in the center section that says I am a header. Well, let's go find the header. There's the header. There's the center section. I will say I am a header. There we go. Now from there, I think it says merge and center the text across. It's going to be easier if I change back to normal view. So if I come down here, here's normal view. Right down here in the corner, I'll choose normal view, and that way I get back here. I know I've completed those. I'm on this one right here. I'm going to go ahead and scroll up on my screen with my touch screen. It says merge and center C19. There's C19 through E19. And merge and center is right here. This one should be pretty easy to find. It says merge and center. Change back to normal view. We already did that. It says freeze those panes. Freeze what panes? It says freeze panes so that row 1 and row 2 remain at the top as you scroll the sheet. So as you can see, normally we would do this if we had column headings. We would freeze so as we scrolled through the data, the column headings would stay up here. But we don't have any column headings now. I'm going to pick the row right below, go to view. Here is freeze panes. Freeze panes. And then we don't want to do just the top row. We don't want to do just the first column. The top row would be like column headings or row headings that we might want to freeze. In this case, I'm going to freeze those panes. Now let's watch what happens as we scroll. You'll see that it freezes those for us. So freeze those panes. We did that one. Wrap the text in cell C22 and increase the height if needed. I'm going to go back to the Home tab. That's where we're working on some work here. We're learning all these outcomes here. Wrap text. There's wrap text, and it looks like it fits pretty well. Now, sometimes it doesn't fit as well as you would like. It starts looking like that, and we can just come over here, double-click for auto row height, and get it to heighten so that it looks good. Apply the short date. Now, if you notice, this doesn't look like a date, but watch the magic. We're coming up here to number format. We're going to apply the short date. Bing, bam, boom, we have a short date. Apply the accounting style to C24. Well, here's the difference between accounting style. So if you notice here, here's the accounting number format. Let's just look at currency real quick. And what we see is it puts a dollar sign right next to the value. That can be kind of hard to read. So really the standard that we use is going to be the accounting format. Watch what happens there. Boop. There we go. There's the dollar sign away from the value so that we don't mistake that dollar sign for a 5 and make it part of our number. Apply the custom red negative. I'm going to widen this just a smidge. Negative with parentheses and thousands. So what do you want to bet if we're working in this area? We want some sort of custom. So we'll go to more number formats. We'll go to the number format. There's the red with parentheses, and here is the thousand separator. You notice you get an example up here. Now, what a shame is whoever programmed Excel should have turned this red, because if you notice we're on the red parentheses as we asked for. That's what the sample should have given us. But hey, what the heck, right? It says check the spelling of all items. Now, as we spent a little time in class, we did, and I would highly suggest you look this up. It's called the Spell Checker program. That's why I purposely put this as checker, because as we run a spell check, it's not going to pick that up. So we still want to make sure, notice checker, it doesn't pick up the right checker, right? We'll just ignore this one once. There's a formatted, we'll change that. We'll change landscape to landscape. We did that twice. Did you want to continue? Yes, I do. We've got some more changes. So basically all we're doing is changing the ones that I purposely meant to misspell, not those other ones that I've pointed out to you all. So that's my humanness and trying to create assignments on the fly that really help you all learn this material and master it. So we did the spell checking, increased the decimal places to 4 decimal places. We'll go back to the Home tab. That's really where we're working in Excel. And here is increase decimal. Here's decrease. We want to increase to 4. Boop. We're done. Change the sheet name for this sheet to Features Practice. So if I just come down here and double click, that's how I find it best to do this. Features Practice. There we go. And I'm done. Insert a row above this one and type I inserted this row. So if I just right click on this row and choose insert, you'll notice that it inserts above. That's its default, and I wanted to put I inserted this row. There we go. So I've completed that one. Here, delete this entire row from the spreadsheet. Well, just as easily as we right click to insert, we can right click to delete. Now notice I clicked on this. I didn't just click on one cell. I clicked on the entire row to delete. This one says apply a conditional format 5 colors icon set. Well, what I need to do to the range C31 through G31. So I'll select that, come up to conditional formatting. There's icon sets, and there is the 5 arrows icon set. So I'll apply that. And I am good to go. Change the font size in C32 to 14 points. Come up here. I can just change the font size. There's 14 points. It says decrease the font in cell C33. There's C33 to 6 points. Well, if you notice, there's not a 6 point here. So if I just type a 6 in here and hit enter, there's the fine print. I'm sure you can't see that real well. I format it in Algerian, so we want to change the font style format. Here's Algerian, and we're done. Apply the bad cell style. Now these are common cell styles that we use, so I'm going to say come up here, cell styles. That makes sense. I'll find the bad cell style, apply it. Because we use these so much, I'll get you to apply the good cell style and then also the linked cell style. So linked cell, there we go. Landscape this page. Well, if I come up here to page layout, I go to orientation and I choose landscape. That's all I need to do. Now, how am I going to know if you landscape the page? I'll go over here. I'll go to file print and I'll be able to tell that it's in landscape. Let's go back. It says clear the formatting of cell C39. Well, I'll hit C39. I'll go back to my Home tab and I will find the magic eraser tool, and it says clear formats. Notice we can clear everything. We can clear contents, comments, hyperlinks. We'll just clear formats as it says, and it goes back to the default format of Calibri 11 point font. I link to Google. It says create a hyperlink. Okay, well this is not a link to something else in this page. That would be like a reference to another cell, maybe on the multiplication table page. We'll get to that in a minute. All I need is a hyperlink here. So I'm going to right click in this tab and choose hyperlink. And the text I want to display is already in there for me, so that can be different. Then I just come down here and type in www.watch. It puts the http:// so that's going to work in any browser. I type in google.com and I say okay. And if you notice, as I mouse over that, it tells me where it's going to go. It's going to go to google.com. So there we are. We're done with this sheet. If you need to, take some time, practice. Good idea to go through it with me and do it again. The only way you get good at this stuff is by putting in the time and the effort and doing the homework and practicing. You've got my lecture videos, except for the one on Thursday for some reason, some technical issue. The people in class can guarantee that we recorded it because they all actually helped create the recording. We had a really fun class that day. All right, so my multiplication table. Here's what we're looking to do. You might have seen this in elementary school where you had a table like this and you had to fill in the values. Well, we're going to use the absolute cell reference, and some of you might remember this. I'm going to put a number in here. That's going to be my absolute cell. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 10, 20, 30. So I'm going to remind you, 30, there we go, and 40, and 50. So let's say I had some values here and I wanted to multiply them by 100. So the issue is, as I fill down with my formula, let me just do this real quick. I'll give you an example. So I'm going to say equals the value in O2, and I'm going to multiply that by 100. Now, pretty common sense that what I really want to do is multiply this by 100, that by 100, that by 100, that by 100. Let's see what happens as I fill down. Am I going to get the right numbers? No. Let's figure out why. If I double click on one, it'll graphically represent what values it used. And as you can see, it used the 06 as we expected, but it used P5 when I absolutely wanted it to use P1. So what happened there? Well, I needed to apply an absolute cell reference. Okay? And to do that, let me get off of that one. To do that, what I needed to do was come up here and be somewhere inside this, the P1, where I wanted to use the absolute, saying absolutely always use this one. When I fill down, don't iterate down, always use this cell. And the way I do that is with the F4 key. Now, for some of you with newer laptops, you're going to have to hit the FN and F4, because what they've done is those F1, F2, F3, F4 keys have become the top function on that bar. So if you notice there, now I'm telling it, let me go back, let's look at this formula. It's saying go ahead and use O2, but always use $P, $1. That means absolutely use P1. Now let's see what happens. Now do I get the right values I want? Yes, 50 times 100 for 5,000. Well, if you notice, let's go try that here and see what happens. It seems to me like we would just take A3, we'll multiply that by B2, and we get the right answer in this case. But as we iterate over, let's see what happens. It does not give me the right answer. So somehow I've got to use those absolute cell references. However, if I apply it to each one, then as I fill over, I've told it always use those two cells and only those two cells. So as I fill over, I get the same result. As I fill down, I get the same result. Why? Because I told it to absolutely always use those two cells. Let's look. That one's using those two cells. That one's using those two cells. What I really want to do here is I want to somehow, let's just look at this one here for a minute. I want to somehow iterate this so that this result is going to use A8 and H2. So how do I do that? Well, I am so glad you asked. Let me get rid of that. We'll just backspace and delete that. There we go. All right. And we'll just go up here and do the undo key. Oops. Give me just a sec here. You're being a pain. I'll just do this. Think. I'll go and do that. Come up here, use this, and I will clear contents. There we go. So we know that this one is going to be that multiplied by that, but somehow I need to iterate. Now, what I want to do here is 1 is going to need to iterate up and 1 across. So if we go into our formula here and we used, by the way, we can do this with trial and error, and we use the F4 key and we use the function key and hit F4 once, it absolutes everything. If we hit F4 again, if you notice, it just puts a $sign in front of the 3. Okay, so what that means is the A is going to iterate. Okay, so the A is going to change, which means the next one, okay, would be A4. Okay, and we need to iterate something here. Well, we know we probably aren't going to, want to iterate the same thing. I'll do that. I'll go function key. Let's try iterating the, iterating the column. Let's see what happens if we do that. Well, I'm getting the wrong answer. So let me try this. Let me change this, get it function key to iterate the column. Iterate the row. So now the column A is going to stay the same, and it's going to iterate to A3. Then in the next one it becomes A4. So let's try that. And we will iterate this one to keep the column the same and change the row. Let's see how this works. Well, looks like so far I'm getting the right answers. 1 times 9 is 9. Let me fill down. And if you notice here, it's using A11 times J2, and it's giving us the right answer. So the cool thing about this is understanding how these work. Okay, from the absolute cell reference. So this one absolutely used this one and iterated these because, if you notice, I didn't put any absolute on there. So there is the multiplication table. The cool thing about this is once the kids get done learning their first 1 through 9, we can change this to 11. I can change this to 11. I can change this to 12. Watch this. I'll iterate this down. Should give me to 19. There we go. And there's 11. I need 2 values to fill through. There's 11, 12. There we go. And now I could start learning my advanced multiplication tables if I wanted to. All right, that's probably enough for now. You all take it easy. You have a video now to complete the assignment. Take care.